GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Experience the next level of imaging with Vivo X100 series. Pre-book now.
Hello, Bhumi. Welcome to Galata Plus. We meet again.
Yes.
So, tell me, I need to start with this. We live in an age where everyone is very conscious about the pictures they put out of themselves. And on Instagram, for instance, it's like you take a picture and then they take a look at it. No, yaar, like take a better one. The light is not okay or what. And this is like regular common people, right? Not even stars or whatever. How is it to do entire movies without makeup, like in Bhakshak? I mean, I'm sure it's part of the character. You know that as an actor. You know that this is part of the job. But is there some part of you that feels a little naked because the camera is so close to you, it's observing your face so close? Is there one part of you that you have to subdue and say, don't think about that, don't think about that?
Absolutely. I would be lying if I say that I'm not like conscious of what's going on. But there's something very empowering about being not cushioned by any kind of layers. And I think I enjoy that process a lot.
Right.
And it's just the opposite of the person that I am, because in real life, I'm that girl who dresses up every day. But I feel like just being in front of the camera, I think that's such a safe space for me that I really kind of get out of my comfort zone and push my boundaries in every way possible.
Right.
So there's truly something magical about me knowing, but I also feel it's the comfort of knowing that that's not me, that's the character.
Right.
And this character needs to be like this, and you're so prepped and you've psyched yourself so much. But then there are moments where Bhumi also seeps in, and then I'm like, okay, keep it together.
Was there any moment in Bhakshak that Bhumi seeped in?
No. And I think I know the films where Bhumi didn't seek in. I know it.
Okay.
Dam Laga Ke Haisha, Sonchiriya, Sand Ki Aankhein, and now Bhakshak. I know these films. She did not... There was no scope for her to come in.
Right.
A lot of it was because of my directors. Pulkit, and I would really take some time to I have to acknowledge how brilliant he is.
Right.
Because when this script came my way, I was like, okay, novel. No, it's not an idea. This film is an important film, and it deals with it deals with a very sensitive subject. We are speaking about offenses on sexual offenses on little children, that literally have...
On children, yeah.
Yeah, that literally have... there's nobody to take accountability for their life.
Yeah.
They are orphans. And I feel in the pyramid of heinous crimes, and I hate to put it like that, I don't think there's anything lower and more... whatever. It can't go lower than that. Humanity can't go lower than that, right? So, the film came to me in the thick of the lockdown. So Red Chillies got in touch with me and Pulkit got in touch with me, and I had a narration and I really liked it, but for whatever reasons we couldn't collaborate then. And I kid you not, I would have these moments of panic that were full of guilt, and I felt this feeling of extreme loss. And I was like, because I didn't have this film. And it would really make me very anxious, and I dealt with it for 5 months until I called my manager and I was like, I think I made the wrong decision. I was like, this film's haunting me. I was like, if this script is haunting me, I kept thinking about it. And I was like, this is the film that needs my voice. If I have an audience that I've gathered over the years that believe in the cinema that I believe in, this is the film that I need to stand by. Every other film is going to come my way.
But when you say that I have an audience that has seen me this way, the movies that come to you, Bheed, Afwah, Sonchiriya, all these films are a particular... I have a serious role, and we spoke about it a little bit earlier as well. But now again, now Bhakshak, is this partly because of what you're putting out, in the sense that I'm looking for such roles, or is it also some sense of typecasting happening here?
I think I would kind of want to go beyond it. See, definitely people see me in a certain way.
Just to clarify, I don't think there's anything wrong about it. I'm just trying to see why this is...
I'm with you. I don't think this is an issue. In fact, I feel this works beautifully in my favor, because these are films that are going to outlive me.
Right.
These are films that are on my filmography that I'm going to be very, very proud of. You know, so when I think of a legacy that I'm going to leave behind, I want my cinema, I want people to know that I tried my best. That's about it. You know, my art is my way of expressing what my belief system is.
That's a nice way to put it.
And I wanted to have as much positive impact as possible. I feel a lot of it also comes from my first film. And then my second film was like, again, a heartland film. And I really flourish in this space as well. I finally can admit that, you know, I was also like in the middle kind of running away from it because I was scared. I said, is this all I'll get? But I wasn't getting this the last 2 years and I missed it. I really missed it because these characters are so away from who I am.
Yeah.
So it's genuine work as an individual that I put into creating these characters. And I really feel that every time I've been loved and every time I've been cheered for has been for films and for characters that stand for something more than what I do in my other films.
Right. But does art always have to adhere to your belief system?
No. Not at all. I watch art that doesn't adhere to my beliefs.
No, as in you, the art that
as
you
a
take
performer,
up. Yeah, as a performer.
No.
Okay.
No. Actually, I'm somewhere in the middle. You know, I would take this moment to kind of speak about Aditya Srivastava, right? This film is inspired by real events.
Yes.
Whatever you're seeing in the film has happened.
Yes.
Okay, he is playing the antagonist. This man exists in our society. This man who's going and stubbing cigarettes on little children while performing heinous sexual acts on them exists.
Yes.
He could be my neighbor. And this human being who does not have a bone of malice because I've done a bead with him and then we immediately shot Bhakshak. He's not that person.
Yeah.
And yet he's done it. Does he relate to that ideology?
100% no.
100%
Yeah.
no. So I feel as actors, there are at times, there's such an extreme end to the spectrum that you don't relate to at all, that you kind of do. But at times when you're somewhere in the middle, like your core values, right, that I stand for, if I have a role that doesn't service that somewhere in the narrative, maybe I won't flourish in there. I think I'll have a constant dialogue, and I don't think art needs to have a black or white. You know, everybody has an ideology, everybody has a belief system, and you are allowed to thrive in it.
Right.
I don't know if I'll thrive in it personally.
Right. So you need to have a little bit of Bhumi in the character or in the movie in order to really fit yourself into it.
No, I feel you need to have a little bit of what my moral compass is.
That's what
you know, these are the things that I truly stand for. And I don't think it's just me. I feel like any human being that's compassionate, has empathy, will kind of come in this bracket.
Okay, okay. Now, when you take a movie like Thank You for Coming, I wanted to ask you, you know, there's this question that's been around for a while now. Should films be treated like fiction? Like, as in, you watch a movie, you watch characters that do not necessarily, you know, they're characters, they're fictional characters on screen.
Yeah.
What would you do if someone said, oh my God, you're a role model, you have so many influencers, you're doing all these non-sanskari things on screen, and many young girls could watch this movie and get affected. What would your answer be?
Look, Thank You for Coming is not the first time that I would have heard that. I heard that in Love Stories also.
Yeah, right.
I heard that in a film called Dolly Ki Tiyari Chamakte Sitare also. And I constantly tell people that my culture, my upbringing is not defined by my sexual needs. I feel that the moment we kind of move past that as a society is when we will truly progress.
Right.
And you know what's truly so funny to me, that around the release of that film, there were so many other films that had male protagonists doing if I am non-sanskari, they were as non-sanskari as me,
Right.
but they were not questioned. They were really, really celebrated. I'm all for it. I just feel the rules need to be the same.
Right.
The problem is not how I'm going to influence young girls. The problem is how are you going to influence young boys, because unfortunately we are still a patriarchal society, and that's what we are constantly trying to fight.
Yeah.
So I think what I was doing was empowering. I think everybody individually in their own capacity need to ask that, what are their actions empowering?
Right.
I keep saying this, that the rules need to be the same. And trust me, I am all in support of art not having any boundaries or any fixed narratives. I am that actor. I watch every kind of cinema. I don't think you need to be an extremely pious, heroic person. That can be the only portrayal of a protagonist. I'm not that person. I'm not that audience.
Yeah.
It's not about what kind of a person I am. But I feel like the gender rules are so different. That time was such a good learning for me, because I was like, before me was a film on masturbation, where a young boy was bullied and shamed.
Yeah.
My film was on masturbation, and that film was really, really celebrated. Okay, my film was on masturbation, but there was bullying and shame from a certain section of the society.
Right.
And
That's
like,
really why I asked you, because there was so many headlines about.
absolutely, I was
about
quite
this.
shocked. But you know what was beautiful? There were so many women that championed it.
Right.
There were so many women that championed it, and I completely understand that. It might not feel like a real problem, but the film was a lot more than just an orgasm.
Yeah.
There were so many underlying themes of feminism, and
But like you say, an empowering film.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
why not? Why is it that just because my problems for you might be urban, they are still real problems.
Right, right. But I think these questions also come from a place where they think that, like, people are very uncomfortable discussing female sexuality on screen.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely, because you can't. It also comes from the basic idea of power play, right? You're not supposed to have needs or desires. You're supposed to only be the enabler.
Yeah.
You're only supposed to be the giver.
Yeah.
And how can a woman have needs? How can you want your only duty in the ethos of evolution is to reproduce?
Right.
That's not true.
Yeah, and a part of that comes into Bhakshak as well, because
Absolutely.
you are blamed for following your career at the expense of certain other things. I'm not saying this right now because of whatever, just to kind of keep the plot
Yes.
under wraps. But why do you have to do this? Your husband earns enough
Yes.
money. Do you really have to do this? So it's kind of something that again is something that you have to take and say,
Yeah.
I need this, I need to do this, and move forward.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be the protagonist of a film, the one driving it forward? I mean, there's nobody
Comes with
else.
a lot of responsibility. I think in the last 6 months, I've had 2 of those experiences, and 2 such
Right.
they're just such, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. But at least it's very reassuring to know that I can carry a film. That as a
Doubt it after
Look, we all have self-doubt, I am not that person. I'm an extremely confident person. I'm very opinionated. But I have like very tender moments where I'm like, okay, will I survive this? Am I watched? Like, you have these moments. And then when a film like Bhakshak comes your way, you're like, okay, I'll survive it for a few more years. I'm okay.
Right. Now, from Dum Laga Ke Haisha to now, it's 2015 to like close to 10 years, let's say. How has the ride in the Hindi film industry been? Is it everything that you thought it would be? Or is there something that you discovered like, oh my God, I was so not prepared for this?
It was definitely a lot more than I expected. I think the way I was received after Dum Laga Ke Haisha was truly with a lot of love.
Right.
I got very lucky because I just had like these films that came my way that was so varied in their textures. I worked with some of the best talent in the industry, right? I worked with a very successful superstar in my second film. And that was an anomaly for somebody like me who started with a film like Dam Laga Ke Haisha. It wasn't expected out of me. I had those dreams and ambitions for myself. I saw it in myself. I don't think a lot of people saw this coming, you know. So it has definitely been wonderful. But I feel like there are a lot of, I don't think you're ever prepared for failure. You can never be prepared for failure. Failure really hits you hard. And especially when you don't have enough people that can mentor you through this experience, it can really hit you hard. And you kind of, and it's also the best teacher. It truly is, but you have to go through that experience, and failure is a very lonely journey. You know, when a film works, there's so many people celebrating it with you. When it doesn't work, you're literally by yourself, and then suddenly you're in the middle of this existential crisis where you kind of question everything that you do, and there's so much self-doubt, and there's so much, there's a loss of self-worth. It's momentary, but it happens, you know. And I think that was a very big learning for me. And I think when it really hit me hard was with Sonchiriya. I was destroyed. It was also very early on. I had not really seen a film that had not worked because I'd come from like 4 blockbusters, you know, and credible films. They weren't just films that just had the numbers. They were credible films. And then this film that I had given my heart and my soul and like everything, and for many, many reasons, I'm very attached to the film, didn't work. And I just didn't understand what happened. So that was a very, very big learning. But from then, I kind of realized that you need to kind of cut your cord with the work that you do. Not with the people, with the work that you do.
Is it easy?
No, it's not easy.
I mean, you just make it sound so, like you just cut the cord.
No,
you know, it just sounds...
no. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's taken me many, many years to reach there. That okay, when films didn't work, like there was this run and post the lockdown when nothing was working, you know. And I feel like there's been a very strong shift in the way certain audiences watch certain films. You know, we have lost out on audiences going in for films that are deep in their messaging. And I do a lot of those films.
Like Bhakshak, yeah.
Like Bhakshak.
Like Deed, yeah.
Absolutely. But fortunately, there is another platform that's emerged so strong where these films can be released with all their dignity, because a box office number will not will not define what the merit of the film is.
Yeah.
So it's very heartbreaking when films that are cinematically where they should be, you know, for growth of the industry as well, might not perform, but they are just looked in a very colored vision. And I'm so glad Bhakshak's coming on Netflix, because I don't have that pressure, and this film doesn't deserve that pressure. It is not about me.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone through
That's a great way to put it. This film doesn't deserve that pressure.
It doesn't. It is a very tender film that really needs to be viewed for what it stands for. It comes truly from a place of, you know, it's not about doing something great, right? Like Vaishali's character, my character in the film, she's not a hero. You know, she's just trying to survive. She wants her channel to work. And I asked my director, I said, where are these channels? And he's like, dude, small town media is this. You know, she's taken a very big call where she's like, I'm not going to work in a structured institute. I'm going to be independent. All she has is her van, that little office that she's really...
And Sanjay Mishra as the DOP.
Sanjay Mishra as the cameraman, her mic, and shit tons of debt. You know, that's how she's operating. And she does not go on this mission because she is like, I'm going to do something heroic. She's not padded by wealth or by a police degree. You know, she does not have that badge or a gun to kind of like, you know, she has nothing. She is a common man. She is a regular person who only has integrity for her profession.
Right.
She has desperation to survive in her profession.
Right.
And that kind of turns into passion to seek the truth.
Right.
And that's what, and it's also like a large comment on journalism and just on our society in general. And I was so inspired by that because I was like, and see, this has happened.
Yeah. Like,
This is a true story.
Yeah.
These are inspired by true events. So there are people that have, just because they had the guts to ask why, they've saved these little girls.
yeah. So I hope you continue getting these powerful parts.
Thank you.
But I also help, hope you don't get typecast in these.
Oh, I
in these,
hope so
yeah,
too.
yeah,
That's
because
why if
it's-
I have a thank you, I also have a Bhakshak. I'm going to keep doing it. I
Yeah.
have the spectrum.
Right.
I ain't stopping.
The spectrum works. Yeah.
I ain't stopping.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Experience the next level of imaging with Vivo X100 series. Pre-book now.